Setting up speakers seems like a pretty simple task. Buy nice speakers, connect all the wires, plug in your source, and you're done, right? Nah, what is this, amateur hour? In this video, we're gonna teach you how to set up your speakers like a pro. So for the best sound possible, the obvious first step is a quality pair of speakers. Generally speaking, you want to look for three things: good quality materials, a powerful amplifier, and well-grounded electronics so you don't get any electrical noise. For our speakers, we're testing out Kanto's new U lineup. They come in two models, the U4, which features 140 watts of peak power and a 4-inch Kevlar driver, and the U6, which features 200 watts of peak power and a 5.25-inch Kevlar driver. Both models use a 1-inch silk dome tweeter and an MDF cabinet enclosure with the vents on the rear. The second step is selecting a good quality source. Both of these speakers feature two TOS link optical inputs, a 3.5mm audio jack, an RCA line and phono in, Qualcomm aptX Bluetooth, and a subwoofer pass-through. There's a USB port as well, but that's just used as a charging port and not for any analog conversion. Oh, and it comes with a remote, so you can switch easily between all these inputs. Now that may sound like a lot of inputs, and that's because it is. It's enough that you can connect your TV, your computer, your smartphone, your console, and your turntable all at once. You can't listen to them all at once though, because why would you? But for the DJs and hipsters out there, the speakers come with built-in phono preamp so that you can connect your turntable directly, a feature not commonly found on most computer speakers. But going back to our original point, for high quality audio, optical inputs are your best friend. Most motherboards, digital cable boxes, and TVs will have an optical output, giving you the best digital signal possible. We're not saying traditional analog connections are bad, it's just that they're more easily susceptible to electrical interference. Raise your hand or leave a comment if you've ever met anyone who had staticky audio because they plugged in their speakers to their headphones into the front of the really crappy computer case. And in case you're wondering, Qualcomm aptX Bluetooth is a standard of Bluetooth compression for high-quality audio streaming. It definitely sounds clearer to our ears, but it's one of those things that we don't have the proper tools for measuring. Now, back to the setup. The sound quality is pretty similar on both models, but the U6 will have a bit more bass and overall volume compared to the slightly smaller U4. Both of these speakers are rear-ported, which means that the airflow is vented out the back. If you put the back up against the wall, then you'll get more bass, but your soundstage will feel slightly narrower. Ideally, you'll want to be at least 20 centimeters away from any rear walls, but if you just don't have the space, try to at least tilt them by a few degrees to help reduce unwanted sound reflections. In terms of width, we can't give you a definite answer on this one. It all depends on how far you're sitting away, the walls of your room, and the shape of your head. This is something you'll need to play around with, and just like before, sometimes they will sound better if you angle them in slightly, but one thing we can tell you is the height. The ideal speaker position has the tweeters positioned along the same horizontal axis as your ears. While these bookshelf speakers have a good amount of bass for most music, you'll still want to pair them up with a subwoofer in order to get the physical impact of good EDM bass drops or explosions in games. For that, we'll be pairing these speakers with a Kanto Sub8 subwoofer. As the name implies, it uses an 8-inch front-firing subwoofer with 250 watts of peak power to deliver hard-hitting bass. And this leads us to our fourth step, setting up the proper crossover. The crossover is a fancy term for the exact frequency that determines whether sound is sent to your speakers or to your subwoofer. Let's take a look at the U6's frequency response. It's capable of producing bass down to 50 Hz, while the U4 can produce bass down to 60 Hz. When we look at the Sub8, it's capable of going up to 120 Hz. See that area of overlap? This is where you need to experiment to find the perfect crossover point. You want all high frequencies to go to your speakers while your low frequencies go to your subwoofer. Hearing deep male voices coming out of the subwoofer is a very unpleasant experience since the boominess makes it hard to understand what they're saying. On the flip side, having your explosions played through your speakers also distorts your sound quality since your speakers are trying to replicate a high and low frequency all at once, something that's physically impossible. Try singing high and low at the same time.
I can do it.
Do it. You also don't want them too separate either. A tiny amount of overlap is actually beneficial since it actually helps blend the sound together, so highs and lows don't sound like they're coming from two different sources. For our combo, setting the crossover to 80 Hz is a good starting point. Finally, the placement of the subwoofer matters quite a bit as well. Most people will stick it near the front or in a corner of a room, and this is a safe bet since a subwoofer resonates enough that most places sound decent. But this is the pro guide, and here's the pro way to do it. And just as a disclaimer, this is not a prank. It sounds weird, but just trust us, we're pros. First, place the subwoofer where your ideal spot would be. For example, you'd place it on the middle of the couch in the living room or on your computer chair at your desk. Next, put your favorite bassy song on or movie scene and crawl around the floor. Seriously. A subwoofer works in a wonderfully magical way where it happens to mirror sound almost perfectly. So once you have found the spot on the ground where the bass sounds the best, simply place your subwoofer there. You have to almost literally swap out your head for the subwoofers. And there you have it. I know that was a lot of information to digest, but it's actually applicable to all speakers out there, even the ones you already have. If you have a few minutes, try out some of the tips we mentioned here today, and you might be pleasantly surprised at how much better your system sounds. All right, that wraps up our pro guide on setting up your speakers. If you are interested in these Kanto speakers, the link is up in the little eye up there. Go click it. And as always, like the video if you liked it, comment down below for fans with benefits, and subscribe for more videos like this from NCIX. And don't forget to check out our other videos and follow us on Twitter. Tweet at us. I'll wait.